I'm Melissa, the Influencer Community Associate at Sway Me Good, and welcome to the Sway Me Good podcast. We're going to talk to experts about the influencer industry, and we're going to try and make it as simple as possible so that you can monetize your content. So welcome to the Sway Me Good podcast. And today we have our first ever guest, Chikay. And we are so grateful to have Chikay here. And I'm just going to do a little read on her bio because it is absolutely incredible. So you're the founder of Low Digital, 12 plus years experience in luxury and beauty e-commerce, former performance marketing director at Cult Beauty, and a recognized industry leader. Thank you, Chikay. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me here. I'm very excited to be here.
So excited to get into it. So I kind of want to start with a bit of background about you and just where you kind of had that aha moment, like how you knew this was your passion and what you wanted to do with your life.
Sure. Buckle up, everyone. Yeah. Get comfy. It's so I didn't so much discover this as my passion and have that aha moment. I more fell into what I was doing. So when I graduated from university, it was 2011, really showing my age here, but it was post the 2008 recession, and the job market was really challenging at that time. So I'd graduated from Nottingham University, from their business school with a management studies degree, and I came to London for a free internship because at that time there weren't that many jobs around in that market. The internship was, to be honest, a joke. It was unpaid. This was back when unpaid internships were still legal.
Yeah.
And I was emptying the dishwasher, changing the bins for free. So 2 weeks into doing that role, I thought, this isn't sustainable. I can't sustain myself, and there's no future progression here. So I actually just walked into Selfridges on the shop floor, and I got a job there at the Offspring concession. So, sorry, bear with me here. I know this is a long-winded start of my story, but it was from there that my digital career happened, because I bumped into a old classmate who was also who had went to Nottingham University. His dad, David Laurie, approached me. I said hi to him. They were both just shopping. His dad just said very candidly, he says, "Chikay, I don't mean to be rude, but you and Guy went to the same university. You did similar degrees. Why are you working here on the shop floor of Selfridges?" And I just explained, I was like, I really wanted to go into marketing, but I've not really found any, no opportunities at the moment. The market's really tough. Thought nothing about that interaction, but it clearly made an impression in his head.
Right.
6 months later, I got approached I wasn't on Facebook. It was actually one of Guy's friends. So Guy is David's son.
Yeah.
One of his friends on Facebook messaged me and says, "Chikay, Guy's dad, David, remembers meeting you and he might have a job offer for you." I was like, wow, what? At this point, I'd moved from Selfridges to Foxtons. So I've been an estate agent before. I've worn many hats in my time, but I was 6 months into working at Foxtons, and I met up with David, and he offered my first role. He interviewed me there. He said, really impressed with you. You seem like you're really smart and super switched on. And that was the start of my career in e-commerce. So that's how it started.
Meant to be.
Yeah, it was. So it was an online drinks retailer called 31dover.com, and it was owned by Vanquish Wines, who are on 31 Dover Street in Mayfair, who supplied all the major bars and clubs with alcohol in the West End. So it was a B2B offering, and they wanted to offer a B2C offering, so delivering luxury drinks direct to consumer, bought online. So I started there. From there, I went to Net-a-Porter, where I was on the search marketing team, so doing the SEO and PPC, really honed in all of my performance skills. And then from there, my longest standing role in my career that probably most people associate me with still was at Cult Beauty, where I was there for 7.5 years and then left as their performance marketing director. So yeah, really long-winded way of kind of going through my CV. And then after leaving Cult Beauty, I really wanted to do my own thing. So for the past just over 2 and a bit years, now I have Low Digital, which is a boutique affiliate marketing agency specializing in building affiliate programs for luxury e-commerce brands. And that's how
Wow.
I got there.
How long was the journey from when you were at Selfridges to getting the job at Cult Beauty? How long was that?
Oh, crikey. So, Selfridges, I would have been 21. So that would have been, 2011, 4 years actually. And it was Cult Beauty. I started Cult Beauty in 2015 in February. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was 4 years between Selfridges to
And that's
Cult.
4 years after graduating as well.
Yes, exactly. 4 years after graduating. Yeah, finding my own feet for a while. But about a year of that was, working those internships, Selfridges, Foxtons, and then I started at 31 Dover.
Amazing. And what would you say has been like the biggest change within the industry? Obviously, you've seen it over the last 10 plus years, 12
my
plus years,
God,
actually.
wow. There's so many different kind of technological changes. Things have gotten so advanced. Technology is by far the thing that has advanced so quickly. And I know it's a conversation on everyone's lips at the moment, but AI more recently, that has been the quickest change I have experienced probably, in my 10 years plus of working within this space. But it won't just be me. I think any industry across the board, all verticals are seeing this kind of, super quick advancement on that front.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. So I know I brought you here as you are an expert in affiliate marketing, and I'm going to approach this from an influencer's point of view. So I feel like affiliate marketing has sometimes a bad name and sometimes a good name. If you don't understand it right, I feel like they sometimes don't understand how they can monetize it. So what would you say from your point of view, affiliate marketing?
What is the general? So I always start any sort of kind of conversations with prospective clients about this because everyone's understanding of this channel is quite different. So if I was to give a really top line definition, I'd say affiliate marketing is a pay per performance marketing channel. And what does that mean? It means that we pay for a certain action. So the action can be, there's quite a few different actions you can pay on. So there's clicks. So anyone who's driving traffic to your site, obviously that's CPC. We've also got sales, probably the most common one. So paying a commission, a percentage of the sales that's been generated. There's also lead generation as well. You can also pay for email addresses. But the most commonly used one, especially within the UK and US markets, is CPA. So you're paying per sale, a commission on the sale. But this is actually shifting slightly now, especially within the publishing space. They're moving more towards a CPC model as well, because content is about driving traffic and shifting that sole focus, on just conversions and build super salesy.
Yeah.
So that is what I would call kind of the overall definition.
And
of affiliate
for those
marketing.
who don't know, what is the difference between what does it stand for, CPA and CPC?
Yeah, cost per action, cost per click.
Cost per click.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then does performance marketing come into that? Is that?
Yeah, so performance marketing is just any channel whereby you pay for an action as well. So all of those, obviously, like PPC, paid social as well, all performance channels. So everything is trackable. Everything is very data-led, analysis-driven, which is why I personally love the industry. Everything is, you can find everything within the data. All the different data points tells you so much information about what works, what doesn't work, and it allows you to optimize. And that's one of my favorite things about this channel. I'm a super logical person, incredibly numerical, and people probably don't realize that I actually spend most of my days in my job looking at spreadsheets and analyzing data. And I love it though, because it gives you actionable insights for you to keep growing and for you to find areas of opportunity. So we compare that to the previous world of offline press, for example. You look at these things like EMV, earned media value, and it's all very guesstimate, estimative, wishy-washy, whereas this, you're like, actually, no, click came from here. It can be attributed to this channel via this device. the user is in this market, in this locale. This is how they came on. This is how they found you. That's of course if the user has opted in to accept the cookie consent banner. That's the only way that you'll be able to track.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you don't opt in and don't accept it, you're not giving them the permission to track you and your activity, so that won't be reflected in the data.
So the influencer wouldn't get the commission.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
If they don't click cookies.
Yeah, if the end user isn't, because it's not tracking them.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, that's why it's a lot of conversation about cookie consent management as well within this space. But there's always going to be a disparity in data because of that cookie acceptance rate as well. Just even looking at your analytics platforms, everything has to be accepted, and of course this does depend on the advertiser or the brand, and if they are what their cookie policies are. Some will change if something is necessary, or if it's not. So there will be nuances within there how brands are and are not collecting cookie consent. But overall, what GDPR says, overarchingly, I would always err on the side of caution, just to avoid fines. It's always been drilled into me. There's just no point risking it in my eyes. But some will be. Some retailers will be a lot more loose with how their cookie policy is.
Yeah, I would call affiliate marketing just such a transparent channel, isn't it? So I feel like you can see, like you were saying, you can see nothing could be hidden within the numbers.
Yeah, well, there is that. I think that's that's overall digital marketing, but there are some nuances within affiliate marketing. And I think this is a lot of traditional affiliate influencer platforms as well. Their model is actually to charge you for data. So you won't see that granularity of data within some, especially the bigger influencer networks. A lot of them, which I do partner with, but they do add value in some ways. So it's undeniable that you should be working with them and that they will drive for you. But if you want that extra layer of data and visibility, sometimes you have to, a lot of the times you have to pay for it.
Okay.
And that's their value proposition and that's their business model.
Okay.
So there is the transparency available if all of the publishers on the program are willing to give you that transparency.
Of course. Okay, it makes sense. So over the years, what would you say from what you've seen is the most common mistake that influencers, content creators make while doing affiliate marketing?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things, actually, one thing that I think is super, super important is understanding ASA guidelines. Most creators are not aware of how much you should be disclosing. And a lot of lots of creators are shocked at the fact when I speak to them, especially coming from brand side where we have to be super, super careful. There's always going to be competitors, whistleblowers who are looking to tear you down. Ultimately, especially if you're in a successful business that's growing, and that where you're starting to see success. So I would always advise never give anyone any reason to be able to tear you down. And not following ASA guidelines is one of the easiest ways to do this. So even if you are being gifted a product, that is an ad. Wow. That should be declared as an advert. I would say #ad, and then I would say #gifted to show that it was gifted. Ad doesn't just mean that you are being paid in like monetary, monetary value. It can be in product. It can be a press trip. All of these things count as ads and should be declared as ads. So I would always implore and encourage creators to just really, really get a hang of the guidelines and just to read through them as well. Though technically the onus isn't on the creator, it's on the brand. But sometimes brands as well, they don't even know. Ultimately, if someone made a complaint and there was enough complaints within the ASA and the brand got investigated, it's down to the brand,
not the
influencer. The brand is going to get charged the fine.
Oh wow!
And lots of brands have been charged. And
Oh,
one
wow.
of the kind of more recent examples, which the influencer space have been talking about, is actually founder-led brands. Grace Beverly
Yeah.
and Tala.
Yeah.
She didn't disclose that it was her own brand, and they got huge fines.
Oh, they did in the end.
In the end, as part of that whole conversation. So there is a lot of guidelines that need to be followed. I think trying to understand the affiliate model and how it works as well.
Yes.
You should always try to utilize, if you're working with a brand who has a strong affiliate program, they should have resource to be able to educate creators on how to best monetize their content or how to best work with the brand. This is something we did at Cult Beauty. You know, we wanted to grow with these creators, and like we were kind of discussing before, there was creators who weren't full-time influencers
Yes.
in their roles, but they grew with me and the company, and they became so loyal to us, and they actually approached me and Cult Beauty when one of the creators started her own range of beauty products, and she said, look, I've worked with you for so long, I want you to be the exclusive stockist retailer, I want to launch with you first, which
So
is
incredible.
amazing. And that's what we want. We want to
Yeah.
bring, you know, we want to grow those genuine relationships and grow with the creators as well. It's not all just about size. I only work with those with 1 million plus. That's a really unrealistic thing to do, and it's actually a really bad strategy to do, just aiming for pure reach.
Yeah. So do you believe that it's community over followers?
So I believe there's different influencers for different KPIs and metrics.
Yeah.
And when I was, so I can talk to my experience at Cult Beauty, because it was actually Lex. I have to give all of the credit to Alexia Ng, who was the founder of Cult Beauty. So when I started at Cult Beauty of 10 years ago now, in 2015, at the start of 2015, Lex saw a gap and an opportunity in the market. Back then, this was when journalists still had, and editors had, the sway and the power in deciding what was, you know, the hottest products, the picks. They were the authority in this. But Lex started to see this swing, and she was the only ones when all the other brands and founders were schmoozing editors and journalists. She says, actually, I'm seeing this new cohort of these bloggers. Used to be called bloggers back in the day. No one says that anymore because they had actual blogs.
Yeah.
Back in the day, when it was like Lily Pebbles, God, it was the Anna Edit, all of these different creators. They've all rebranded since then. It was even in the Fro as well before she was Victoria, a while ago. But they started popping up, and Lex thought, this is actually, I think this is the new wave of influence. The power is going to move away from the journalists and the editors to this much more authentic, this authentic experience of people who could be normal, you know, people just Jane Doe walking down the street, but giving their recommendations. They're beauty fanatics and they just want to share. So Lex used to, she's amazing. I love Lex so much. She used to invite creators to her bathroom, and she'd strategically put Cult Beauty products in there and just say like, oh, come in, have a rummage through. And she'd talk through all the products with them.
Yeah.
And then they'd just be so sold into her story. And all of this, that they just started talking about the brand, and it's very, very organic. And then I joined the business. There's probably only about 20 of us. We're in our office in Farringdon, like one small office space. The warehouse was downstairs in the kitchen. We used to pick and pack our own orders. I remember back in the day. But then obviously Lex had kind of other kind of commitments. She was trying to look after other things that were going on in the business. So I really helped her take on the affiliate channel and the influencer side of things. And then bringing it back, sorry, to your question, I waffle on a
great.
lot, is I really had, so when I had a full-fledged, it was about 4-person influencer marketing team, and I would lead on the top line strategy, and then my amazing, like the manager in the team and all the rest of the team would start help putting in input in terms of strategy and then implementation. And our strategy for me was, there's different pillars that I wanted to kind of set. That it's just not one goal. It's not realistic.
No.
You're not going to find creators who are just going to drive X or just going to do this. So what we had was the different pillars. One was reach and awareness.
Yeah.
We obviously want these campaigns to get out to as many people as possible. There was an influencer category of creators who would be suitable for that.
Okay.
The next, then, we would also want, it's sat under my team. A lot of the times, actually, performance marketing sits within brand, but we took a very performance-led approach. But I am probably slightly different to most performance marketers who focus purely on commercials and numbers. Because of the way I worked really closely with Lex and also Jenny, who was my mentor, Jenny Chu, marketing director at the time, they knocked into me the importance of brand.
Okay.
Brand and performance cannot just work in silo. That will never work. The biggest success you're going to see is when they come together.
Of course.
I think this is actually one of the biggest challenges in a lot of brands, that the brand team and the performance team always arguing. They can't see eye to eye.
And very separate.
And very separate. But I found a way to make it work. So we've got the creators who are ticking the box for reach. And then ultimately, everything kind of comes down performance. As a performance director, they're looking at your ROI, your return on investment. So I need some within that. We call them unicorns. We know these are those who are able to sell. And we know it's tried and tested. I have tested so many hundreds of creators, and these are the ones who work. So we'll always make sure we'll use a different kind of combination of these. And then we've got the micros as well, who are the smaller ones that we want to grow with and support with them. So I understood. I say, I'm not likely, my KPIs and objectives for you are not going to be the same as those who are the unicorns, for example. For this, I want to help you build your community, access your community as well. And also just bring some fresh new faces to our influencer program. Yeah. And then we also, something that was super, super important to me, and I'm really grateful for that Cult Beauty gave me the opportunity to exercise this. I, as a female person of colour, DEI and the diversity and inclusion side of things were really, really important to me, as they should be for any business. It shouldn't be a tick box.
No.
We're a retailer who is for everyone, and people will only shop with you if they resonate with your marketing and the comms that you're putting out. If you're only working with a certain type of creator, she doesn't look like me, her hair's not like me, skin type isn't like mine, for if someone with like afro curl patterns, for example, if you're just showing them like these white brunette blonde girls, that it's not reflective of for them, and it doesn't resonate with them. So this was a really important pillar for me. So it would be a combination of, I was like, look, these are all the different pillars that I am really, really keen to hit. I'll make sure strategically that I'll hit the overall targets. So what I did was I set a blended target across the whole of the channel, and then that allows me to work with the different partner types to satisfy all of these different pillars, let's call it. But yeah, there's not one thing that I'd say this is what we're all working towards, this is what we're looking for, but a multitude of them.
And I think if you get the right amount of all of them, you've got a successful campaign.
Exactly. It should be a mix. There's not ever going to be any success if you're saying, I'll only work with people who have 1 million plus creator, 1 million plus followers, or I'll only work with micros. There's so many objectives and KPIs that need to be considered. It's not just one influencer type that you'll be working with that will get you there.
Yeah, such a good point. Okay, so how would you, if you're speaking to an influencer, say
Yeah.
I was an influencer, what would you say to me is the best way to do affiliate marketing while being authentic within your
Yes.
content?
Authenticity is one of the biggest. It is one of the biggest things, and I would say be really, really careful and mindful of who you're picking to work with and your split of paid versus organic content. Because ultimately, I've seen so many brands. I've spoken to influencers. I'm great friends with influencers just from working with them
Yeah.
for so long. And I've heard and seen some like outrageous things. Like there's a few influencers this has happened to who are known. They wear wigs, but they were promoting, but like a shampoo and hair care
Right.
brand were working with them, and you know, I was like, oh my god, wow, this is just terrible. And then you just saw the comments like, oh, XYZ, we know you wear wigs, like this is a very odd partnership. And then they'd be like, oh, I shouldn't have taken it on. But just simple things like that.
Yeah.
People can tell when you're not being authentic.
Yeah.
Authenticity sells. When you're genuinely excited about something and passionate about something, it comes across.
Yeah, for sure.
And when you're not, and if you're constantly one of those creators who are pushing ad, it just, there's like we become numb to it. And we are not idiots. We are very, very savvy people. And advertising is becoming more and more kind of creative. There is, you know, with AI, cookie tracking, all of this, you're being followed by brands everywhere. And collectively, our consciousness is aware of this. So there is no, you know, don't, if you don't like a product, it's really obvious to say, but it goes
Never
to
too
show.
obvious.
Yeah, it's so obvious. The best way that I genuinely think that has worked best in my mind is when a creator works with a brand, either organically gets gifted it and they try it, and then they start talking about it, maybe just through using affiliate links at first, but be very, very clear and not just go from not talking about it at all, which I've seen a lot, to getting paid a sponsorship fee to talk about it. I was like, hold on a second. Oil of Olay, I've not once heard you in the past 2 years mention that, but now you're telling me,
ad.
it's your favorite brand. You know, the audience isn't your audience. Aren't stupid, so don't treat them like that. But I'd say start small and organically is one of my best tips. And then, you know, if it's a good working relationship, you like the brand and the brand likes you, then that's how it should build, but incrementally, and not just go drop 10K. I want you to sponsored post. I want you to do sponsored video, reel, XYZ, and say, and do that. Start small first. Start organically would be always my advice, and then kind of work your way up. That's where I've seen the most successful relationships being built.
I love that. I've seen influencers who I love, and I've seen them talk about products, and then they finally get a sponsorship or a collab or whatever, and I'm like,
exactly.
Like, I'm so happy for them.
You're like, wow. And then
and it makes you want it as well.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see in them their genuine like gratefulness and happiness. Like, I know you've heard me talk about this for a while, and you do see that happen so much.
I love that.
And it is something that brands, you know, do look at and consider. But now it's no secret that marketing budgets have been cut. We are in a challenging time from a retail standpoint, cost of living, other economic factors impacting all of this. And I've seen this in my clients' kind of, you know, budget changes as well, performance. And you just need to be, kind of more mindful about these sort of things.
Yeah, I completely agree. So from your experience now or when you're at Cole, where have you found that the most success has come from affiliate links? Like, what platform is it?
So there's no one single platform that I would say per se, because now in terms of affiliate links though, it did shift. It used to be YouTube, long form video content was probably what was driving, and actually where back in the cult beauty days, and actually now very few people, or actually not many of my clients, are investing as much into long form video content, just because the rise of TikTok and then attention span is so short now.
It's so bad.
I used to review hour-long vlogs.
Wow.
Hour long, yeah. Me and my team making every single timestamp that no, there's mistake here. Doing this hour-long ones that I've not done that in years now. I've not done that in years.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends on. There's a lot of different factors that impact it. But now more short form content is definitely the way going forward. TikTok is slightly different because they have obviously a TikTok shop and they have their own kind of commerce affiliate side of things. So right now, probably where I'm seeing the most requests and a lot of volume just because of people's user behavior is probably Instagram, and the kind of places where our clients, the influencers that our clients and the luxury brands want to work with, that's where they are primarily.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's also like link in bio as well.
Yeah, exactly. Link in bios, and actually affiliate links are usually used in stories. It's link in bio or stories, because ultimately you're either getting, a lot of the times we call it organic. It's not technically organic because you're paying commission on it, but it's not sponsored. So sponsored is more of the evergreen content. It's the reels that will sit in your feed, in posts that will sit in your feed. And then usually they might request an affiliate link as well to pop in your bio. But a lot of the times it's when influencers receive gifting. So they'll say, when you get gifted something, the brand, if they've gotten a good affiliate team and know what they're doing, they'll usually let you know, oh, we are on XYZ influencer networks and platforms. You can link back to us using there. And then they'll drop the commission rate as well for that campaign. And then that's when you get, unboxing from thingy, swipe up, affiliate link. Oh, well, it used to be swipe up. You don't swipe up anymore. I know, you just click. You just click. Showing my my age again there with that side of things. But yeah, normally it is used more for when there is gifting campaigns. I would say that's where affiliate links are more usually are most used. So how we would do it back in the Cult Beauty days, and I say I'm referencing Cult Beauty a lot because I can't really talk about my current clients and what they're doing in their programs. But we'd start on a gifting basis. We'll see gifting, and then we'll see the creators push our site, and then we'll monitor success off the back of that. And then when we start to see more good results, that's when we start doing small paid collaborations. Start small. Everything is incremental changes, and that's what performance marketing is all about.
Just slightly turn it up.
So exactly. Everything is optimization and testing. It's not like finger in the air. It's like, I'm going to drop 20k on this creator.
That's how it sometimes feels from what I see, like on Instagram. I feel like it just sometimes feels like brands have done that. Just randomly picked.
I think that does happen sometimes when maybe some brands have too much budget. They've got big pockets, and they're not, so reliant or looking at scrutinizing the results. At Cult Beauty, I've always, even when we, pre-acquisition and when we got acquired, I've always had a startup mindset in everything we do. I think once you start getting frivolous with your spending, you should never do that, because you don't know how turbulent the market's going to be. Always efficiency is at the front of everything that I do, at the forefront. And there's no point in wasting budget in my eyes. And a lot of the times, influence marketing can sit with brand. So their kind of outputs and expectations of what will happen will be very different from a performance standpoint. So my view is a mixture. I take a mixture of kind of from a content and performance standpoint.
It's rare. I love it.
Yeah, but some people it's usually more so. I find more so are just brand. than they are just performance, I'd say. But I've tried to find a marriage.
Hybrid.
Yeah, exactly. A hybrid of the two.
Yeah, that's amazing. When we were speaking earlier about different types of influencers out there,
Yes.
would you say, I've heard it quite a lot, that affiliate marketing works best, is most beneficial for the bigger influencers? From your point of view and from what you've seen, would you say it works quite well with the smaller,
for sure,
micro?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I can dispute that so much. Big numbers does not mean big success.
No.
I have worked with so many creators who are 1 million plus in following and didn't drive a single penny of sales. And I've worked with creators who are much smaller, 20, 50K, 1,000 followers, and they will drive £100,000 of sales. It's so, the nuances are so vast.
Yeah.
It depends on, firstly, who that creator is. But obviously there are some who are professional authority voices within the beauty world. Also different creators will resonate with different brands and their audiences as well. But 100% I can say with pure certainty that bigger number of followings doesn't mean more sales or more traffic. There's some not even that much traffic some of them can drive. That's definitely not an indicator of how successful they're going to be. And any brand who I say is worth their salt should know this. And if they don't, then they are very, very mistaken. And they're not going to see the results that they want from the channel.
Would you say with the smaller influencers who can be successful, would you say it works really well if they have a set niche and then they stick to that, or do you think it could be
it's hard? It's hard to say, because it's more how they have grown their community. I think there are some people who have just the most loyal following, especially these beauty authorities. I remember one of the ones that I will say kind of back in the day, who was unbelievable at driving. So I mean, now she's still so influential. Caroline Hirons, Caroline, and then back in the day, now especially with, I mean, she's got her own brand now with Skin Rocks. It's doing amazing, and actually her following has consistently grown and grown. But when we used to work, I mean, we worked with Caroline back in the day, 10 years ago. Because
I only found out about her about a year ago.
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah.
So it was actually my team were doing all of the collaborative beauty boxes.
Okay.
So we first did a collaborative beauty box with Caroline near to like maybe a year or two after I started at Cult Beauty. And her following back then was significantly smaller than what it is now. Sorry, you see, now she's really, really big. But even back in the day, I can't remember her exact kind of following numbers. But I remember working with others who were significantly bigger in terms of following size compared to her. But they had nowhere near her selling power and her ability to influence her audience. And I think that there's a lot to be said in that. And I think people now, especially, that word community has come up so much. And it's only the kind of past few years that this has become a really big buzzword within this industry. It wasn't anything back in that day. Community, what's that? I was like, like a community hall, community hall. Whereas this is something that is more, I'd say, of the recent years.
Yes.
So I think if you have a strong community, if you've built that trust and authenticity, then your channel will only go from strength to strength. It all kind of goes back down to that authenticity piece, and that's why people follow creators. It's not because and create. So we also at Cult Beauty looked at celebrities as well, and celebrities would not return nearly the same as what a genuine creator would do. Just celebrities are so aspirational. It's almost like
outreach.
Out of reach, out of touch. Whereas someone else, they're shopping in Zara or going to, get lunch from XYZ, just someone very, very like what you deem as normal. And it could be me. And I want to hear what they have to say, as opposed to someone who I know is getting paid millions of pounds for this ad. and they probably don't use it.
Yes.
Are all of these A-listers using L'Oreal foundation? Probably not.
If it's hashtag ad they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's so true, actually. That's why I think when you first started at Cole and then the CEO was like, I think it's with the bloggers. And
there's authenticity.
It's so true.
She saw, Lex was a visionary in that.
That is mental because it wasn't a thing.
No, it really wasn't. But her story is very, very special. And that is what made, I think, obviously it was Lex that made Cult Beauty what it was. And it was the incredible team behind her who believed in her vision.
Yeah.
But I think when I was speaking to her, so obviously I was at Net-a-Porter, and all my friends at the time, when I was approached for this role at Cult Beauty, and I said, I'm seriously thinking about taking it, everyone was like, oh my God, you're going to leave Net-a-Porter. Like,
that's crazy.
A million girls would kill for that job. I was like, no, I really believe in the founder's mission. And I believe in her, and I want to do everything I can to help her achieve that dream.
It happened.
And then she changed the beauty industry and the retail space doing it.
It's amazing. Okay, so we have one more thing I want to talk about.
Yes.
I don't know if you get this at all, but from what I've seen, I get sometimes pushback about affiliate marketing to be salesy, pushy, even scammy, because people don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Have you seen, or how do you feel it's best? Obviously the authenticity part, but do you find that you have to play affiliate right in the way of making sure it isn't salesy or scammy or anything like
big
that?
time.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So this is one of the actually biggest challenges that I think I face as a business, is the how shall we call it? Negative PR of the affiliate industry. Basically, the affiliate industry is traditionally, a lot of people either associate it with, it's a full funnel strategy, is what I would always say to our clients. But a lot of people associate it with, if we think about the funnel, the conversion funnel, at the top of your funnel is what's driving awareness to your brand. So this is going to be the creators, influencers, like we are speaking about today, but also press and publications as well. But also as part of that funnel, a lot of affiliate marketing, because it's a performance channel, they work with those who are on that lower funnel. So it's voucher code sites, cashback sites, especially for my vertical and industry of luxury, people, that's the association that they have with it. So that's one of the biggest things that one of my clients almost didn't even want to listen to my pitch. I was pitch number 3 of 3. Right. But the first 2 agencies that sold to them were so focusing on these bad quality, well, not bad quality, but like low quality bottom funnel publishers that just weren't right for luxury brands. Most of my luxury clients won't work with voucher partners, and they won't work with cashback partners. It's not in line with that premium brand status, that elevated brand status. So there can be pushbacks about that, but to overcome this, I think that's why conversations like this is super, super important. Education is a really, really big part of it. Within any sort of channel, you're going to get instances of potential fraud. For example, SEO, there's black hat SEO techniques where people are trying to trick the algorithm to improve their rankings. In PPC, there's click fraud as well. There's always going to be an element of, if there's something that can be taken advantage of, opportunists will always take it. But for this channel, and I am they call me the affiliate auntie of this world, like the Avon lady of the affiliate world, trying to just make the affiliate world a better place. Or just to explain, or try to educate people. There's ways to do it. It can be such a successful channel, but also if it's not managed in the right way, or the approach isn't correct, then it can be not so good quality as well, like with any other kind of channel, marketing channel, online or offline.
Amazing. Okay, so we have a few questions that I reached out to a couple influencers because I thought it's great to get it from their point of view, what they wanted to know from you. So the first question we have is from @golfwithkate. She's a golf influencer, and she's asked, what do you think new monetization trends are emerging for creators in 2025? So how do you feel like people...
New monetization trends. I mean, a lot of the times. So actually, community, like we spoke about, is getting really, really big. So traditionally, for influencers, they would normally, the avenue would be either to join a network, affiliate network, and work with the brands direct. But I know that's really... it's challenging because these dashboards are not made for, Jane Doe or just your normal, your average creator. It's quite technical. There's clunky.
Yes.
It's more designed for either if you're publisher side or advertiser side. So for a creator, that can be quite confusing. So a lot of creators then utilize a network. So network gives them an easier access dashboard, gives them access to a lot more different brands that they can work with without them having to individually apply to each program. But something that has definitely come up more recently is a lot of retailers' back-end programs are hosted on Shopify. And there's a lot of Shopify plugins that allow for creators, almost affiliate programs purely for creators.
Okay.
I actually call them like ambassador programs.
Okay.
So whereby you can do things like track via links, but also bespoke discount codes as well.
Wow.
So you can push a bespoke discount code. For example, Kate could do golf by Kate, was it? That is her handle. Golf by Kate 15 for 15% off. I don't know golf brands, but a golf brand. That was like
Callaway?
Yeah, that's one.
Yes.
That one. So she can be, for example, pushing out as an affiliate for them, but everything is matched up in Shopify. So anyone who uses her discount code, the conversation would obviously need to happen between her and the brand for them to agree to onboard her as part of this, to have her as an ambassador. And then she can talk about the brand, offer her audience something of value, but then in exchange for that, she will then get kickback of sort from the brand. And I've also built programs like this before for brands, just in terms of advising on the commission structures.
Okay.
So it'll be a case of, for example, the more sales you drive actually to one point, the higher your commission will go.
Yeah.
So you hit X amount of sales, we can do something and change it to incentivize them, to push the brand more and help them as well monetize their content better too. So that is definitely something I'm seeing, and that really taps into that community side of the brands. And the brands tend to go for smaller creators with smaller followings for that, because if you're a huge creator, you're just giving that discount out. I mean that you're going to lose, you're going to lose a lot of kind of margin on there. Whereas they target more micro creators for this because they've got a better community and it offers them something like value add to their community as well. So it's a really nice two-way relationship.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, cool. And this is from a influencer called @ZoffFit. She's basically asking, do you think big brands will ever partner with, and then just put normal people? 99% of the moment only seem to go with people with big followings and people who have a smaller audience, but the smaller ones may get better engagement. We've kind of spoken about this. Yeah. But it's like, do you truly believe that brands are going for the smaller micro?
I know for a fact they are.
Yeah.
Because one of my, I can speak to not the specific example, but one of my clients actively turned down big 1 million plus. It's just whether the aesthetic fits them from a branding standpoint. So this is a lot of the times, but actually every brand is very, very different. Yeah. So it's really hard to say there's one solid rule that applies across the board, a one size fits all rule. And actually working kind of agency side as opposed to, I've always been in house. That was a steep learning curve. I was like, wow, there's nothing consistent about anything that happens in this industry. But it's really, really fascinating. That's actually where probably these past few years I've learned the most because of the variance of
Yeah.
what I am seeing in terms of performance, in terms of the mix of publishers that my clients will work with. But no, one of the really kind of big brand clients that I have, very, very well known, they will turn down, and they have done, big creators, because it's not right. It's
Yeah.
not right for them, and they're being authentically them. And that's why their brand positioning is so strong.
Yeah.
But also kind of depends on what you define as normal, right?
Of course.
What is normal? I think a lot of brands look at, it's not necessarily size. I think what's become more and more clear now with, like I mentioned, marketing budgets are getting smaller. And the big 1 million plus influencers are obviously charging so much money. So brands are actually being forced to reconsider their strategy.
Okay.
So they're testing with smaller creators. And then if they're testing with smaller creators and those creators are producing the results that they want to see, then they're going to work with them more. So actually it's quite a nice,
it's true.
it's a good thing that is happening. I mean, not great that retail is not performing as well, but it is opening up the doors and opportunity for smaller, like the more normal creators, not like the macros who are the super famous one who gets approached all the time for these big influencer campaigns. So I think it's almost democratizing the space slightly, which I think can only be a good thing.
Only a good thing, yeah. Okay, well, to end it on a nice note, I'd like to know what do you see, or where do you see influence marketing in 5 years' time being? Like, how do you hope it kind of goes?
I really I really hope that it moves in a better direction from a diversity standpoint.
Yes.
If I'm being completely honest, I am terrified for the industry, especially with what is going on in the US and Trump and the changes to legislation around DI. This has a knock-on effect on absolutely everything. So I think it's so important for influencer marketers, and I think that genuinely a lot of them, but a lot of those who I speak to as well, want to better improve this area of the industry. But also more focus on, I think that right now what we have seen is there's definitely a shift change away from just wanting to work with those huge macros and working with the more authentic, smaller creators with that community and driving that community and educating them and their community with you to help you grow as a brand. Those are the things that I'd like to see kind of, succeed. I'd always,
it'd be amazing.
when I have seen these instances before, and one that I can name check. She is, I don't know if you know, Sammy Jeffco. She is an unbelievable creator. But I remember I invited her to my first ever event, and Sammy has been so incredibly kind to me ever since. It was a long time ago, maybe 7 years ago, to our first ever Cult Beauty event. It was at Ainhoe Estate. And Sammy, I saw Sammy, I came across her. I remember so clearly at the time, she had 19,000 followers, which was relatively small considering, to be taken on an away event back in the day. It was only the big macros that got invited to these events, and things have kind of changed now. Now she's got millions of followers, huge on TikTok. But we really kind of grew with Sammy, and she'd all the time, still to this day, Sammy's unbelievably kind and supporting even my clients now, obviously because she loves the products, but she will listen when I put them to her and just say, even just from a gifting standpoint, say, Sammy, please, would you be interested in trying this? She was like, yeah. Then she's like, tried it. I was like, I love it, Chikay.
And if she didn't, I'm sure she'd tell you that.
Exactly. If she would do, and she'd say, this isn't right for me. And she has turned down events and things that weren't right before in the past, even when I was at Cult Beauty. And that's why people really like her content and respect her. There's that authenticity in there. But yeah, that's like
amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much for today. I honestly It's been amazing speaking to you. You really are an expert in
Oh.
this field. It's been lovely.
Yeah, thank you for having
thank
me.
you for being our first guest.
Yeah,
on
no,
the Swimming
I'm
Good
so
podcast.
honoured. So honoured. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you
having
so
me.
much. Thank you.